Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's April 21st. We're out here in the greenhouse. We're doing a little bit of planting. It's kind of hard to see because it's all underground. But we put this in some radishes right here. We put another variety right here. And we put another variety right here. Everything's looking good. I just watered it down this morning. It's doing a little sprinkling on everything else. We've got another variety right there. And we planted some more spinach right here in this spot. We had this extra space. It's not that they had to be in the greenhouse. They could have been fine outside. But the greenhouse is here. It's a little bit better control water and such, which might not make a big difference this time of year. But we're going to go inside now. We're going to talk about planting some other crops. And on the way, I'll stop by the asparagus. We had never planted this area right here. We have our asparagus coming up there and there. And so we was at Tractor Supply picking up some dog food, and I always got to go by the plants and seeds and stuff, and they had 75% off on their Purple Passion asparagus. We have one group here. It doesn't do real well. I don't know how well this is going to do, but at 75% off, we went ahead and put 2 rows across here, so we'll see how those take hold, and maybe we'll get a few off them next year. All right, we're in the workshop here. Now, I have some plants here, some mullein. These were seeds that I collected. I did a video earlier on saving seeds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here, thin these out to the best plant, and then I'm going to pot these up. I want to get them bigger before I put them out. That way they stand a better chance of surviving here, being we don't actually have mullein on the property, so I'll do that. But mullein is a good medicinal herb. You can look up the benefits for yourself. But what we're going to talk about is planting seeds today. All right. I'm going to recommend, and I always recommend, using seed trays when possible. And I don't think you have to have a complete setup when you're starting out to do exactly the way everybody else does. I do suggest if you're going to use solo cups, as I always tell people, make sure they fill them up to the top, because if you're planting like tomatoes and stuff and they start germinating and they're down from the top, what's going to happen is they're going to get leggy trying to stretch past that colored part of the cup, or that even if it's a clear cup, to get up where they get good light. So they're going to be a little bit more leggy plants doing them that way. And if you use solo cups, make sure you got good drainage, because if they don't have drain holes in them, the roots are going to be waterlogged, and they're not going to get oxygen, because if you know, a plant's got to have oxygen too. That's why when you over water them, they start to turn yellow and stuff, because they can't get the nutrients they need. Okay. I use this is a automotive drip pan that I use. It just makes it easier for me to keep things contained and not make as big a mess. Not that I don't make a mess, this just kind of keeps it contained. Now, I was going to show filling this tray, but my mic wasn't working, and so I decided to shoot it over. But anyway, when you plant your seeds, don't plant them in just plain dirt, and you can call it soil, whatever you got at your house. Just, they like a lot of carbon in there, so and they do like good drainage. Most soils compact easy, so when you water them, they get compacted. The plant doesn't do as well. It doesn't drain as good, and its roots can't stretch out as quickly. What I always use is a homemade, it's equal parts of sifted wood chip compost, perlite, peat moss. So I have the water holding ability. I do have nutrients in the compost, and the perlite lets it drain better and gives it little air pockets. So with a mixture like this, it benefits. But a lot of people say use a fine mixture. Now you can. I have done that in the past, but I prefer this one. My plants prefer this one. Now, when I fill these seed trays up, I'll pile it all up on there, and then I'll bounce it down so it makes sure it kind of compacts itself a little bit, and then just rake it off. You don't want it too loose in there, because what happens is when you get ready to transfer your transplants and they don't have a good root system on them yet, because I plant a lot of mine when they're young, your mix will fall off and you'll be planting like bare root plants. And usually they survive, they just don't survive as well. So anyway, your mix is important, what you plant your seeds in. Don't think because you don't have a lot of money you can't grow because you see all these other people. I do have a lot of accessories that I use when I grow, but I've picked these up over time. I started out with the big box store trays and stuff like that, and I just find these are better. These trays are deeper. They hold about twice as much dirt as your 10 by 20 with the 72 cell trays. This is a little bit under 10 by 20, and it's a 36 cell tray, and it is deeper, so it holds twice as much of the soil. But we're going to talk about planting. You saw what I was planting outside. Certain seeds germinate fine outside. Some just germinate better inside, and they're easier to care for, and you don't have to worry about varmints as bad. We're going to plant some more bok choy and Mitchahili. Now, these are some that I always plant. I don't eat a lot of either one of them. We do eat it, but not a lot. The chickens love it though, and it grows fast, so we always plant it. And then if neighbors and we don't eat it, the chickens love to eat it. But when you go to plant, don't grow stuff you don't eat, and don't try to start stuff. Find out there's certain crops that might be harder to grow. A lot of people tend to make it like it's worse than it is, but don't start with something that's really hard to grow, because if you get discouraged, which I would say not, this is something that you learn over time on growing, that just try again, because a lot of times there could be a lot of factors that cause it to fail. Now, I'm going to plant a few more tomatoes. I'm going to plant me a Super Sweet 100. These seeds are older. I keep all my seeds in the freezer, and I keep most of them in Mylar, so it just protects them a little bit better. But every year I have problems with root knot nematodes. My tomatoes suffer, and then by the time I see that they're suffering, I don't have more tomatoes to come on. So a lot of times I won't have many tomatoes towards the end of the year. So what I'm going to do is plant some more Cherokee Purple. That's one of our favorite tomatoes. And I'm going to plant these cherry tomatoes, but mainly because I'm going to put one in our heated greenhouse this year, and a couple of Cherokee Purple. That way we can see if we can keep tomatoes year round and enjoy those. I'll probably also do a couple of cucumbers, but I'll do them later because they grow kind of fast, and I don't have a problem about replanting them and keeping succession plantings of cucumbers in the garden. But also, my seeds, I get them from a lot of different places. Some I buy bulk, some I don't. Now, I'm going to plant some more broccoli. Now, this is gypsy broccoli. It's a hybrid. And I do have some out in the garden that I'm letting go to seed, because I'm going to see how well the saved seeds from it grow, so I don't have to buy them. But when I have those seed packs, I'll just put them in Mylar, and then I'll get them out as I need them. But I always prefer to save my own seed. Now, I am going to plant a jalapeno pepper. This one was given to me by a friend. It's some that he grew. Now I do have other seeds, but I'm choosing to grow this one now. Now this seed is 5 years old, but it should have decent germination that I can get plant. I'm going to put a jalapeno plant in the greenhouse and just see how big I can get it, run it, grow it through the winter, and then just keep it in a big tub and see how long I can get it to survive and how big it can get. And I'm going to plant some more cabbage. This is Hilton. It's a Chinese cabbage, and this is a real good cabbage when you're in the South. If you take and like salads, this makes a good lettuce substitute. And it takes the heat a lot better than lettuce does. So this will grow on through as long as you can keep the pest pressure down. This is a great one to plant. But when you're planting too, do a little research on your seeds, because certain seeds, there's a few that have to have light to germinate, so you'll have to have light on them. But there's a lot of them that won't germinate very strong. And what that means is if they get buried a little bit too deep, they won't come up. So you'll wonder, well, why didn't my seeds come up? Well, they was buried too deep. I'll give you, for instance, celery is one of those. Celery, I get real good germination on it now because I don't bury it at all. I use this compost, and it's a little coarser, and I just water it in, and it buries itself deep enough when I water it to get good germination. So know how deep you can bury your seeds. When you plant in cell trays, usually you can plant half the distance of what you would have to put it in the ground. And the reason for that is you can control the moisture better than in the ground, because you plant them in the ground and the sun comes out and dries the top. Well, you don't have that problem with cell trays. If you get one of those little kits from Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, one of those big box stores that's got the little dome on it, that's a good starter kit. It's not real convenient because the trays don't separate. You could take scissors and probably cut them down to where you could separate them out, but they don't separate like these trays here. So when you have it, you have one whole tray, and that makes it, or a lot of them have a divider, so you have like half a tray and then a half a tray. And when you have to worry about planting a bunch of different kinds of plants, then you end up having some germinate at different rates, and that causes a problem. When it comes to planting, make sure you have tags so you know where you're planting your seeds. You don't want to not know what variety it is. If you had a different variety and you had it marked wrong, you might have to support it different or something. So it's just best to know what they are. Now, once they go in the ground, I can pretty much tell what tomato it is once it starts growing. The tomatoes have different qualities about them, so they're kind of easy on a lot of them. Some of them aren't. But when you plant, you don't need a whole lot of seeds in there. Now I put 2 seeds in there in case you get a bad one to germinate. You still have a viable plant come up. And make sure that your tag, you put a date on some of your tags. That way you'll know when you put them in there, because if you plant a bunch of different trays, you might think that ones should be germinating already, but it hasn't. So you want to know exactly what you're doing. And also know, and that's the reason why I like these trays better, like tomatoes, they'll germinate in 3-4 days. Peppers might take 10 days to a week. Sometimes they germinate quicker depending on your seeds and how fresh they are, but sometimes they may take 2 weeks to germinate. So you want to put a date on these things so you'll know hey, this has been in there for this long and it ain't germinated, you might have to start new seeds. Now, this last one we're planting Hilton cabbage. Now, I want you to see how small these seeds are. They are really small. Now, she'll pick them out, and I normally, with these smaller ones, I'll put in about 3 seeds. Now, sometimes you might get an extra one when you do it like that, or by any other method. What I like to do is I'll use one of these little planters. You can put the seeds in here. You got different size holes for uh, letting them come out, and I'll just put my hand at the end of it, my finger, I'll shake some out, and I'll hold it at the right angle, and I actually take tweezers and I'll slide a couple of seeds at a time. That way I could do it. My hands are too big to pick up those little seeds and separate them, and I'd have all kinds in there, as you can see with these little dusty ones here. If you ever watch this video where I save these, they basically they look like powder. There's quite a few seeds in a mullein stem. But anyway, we're going to complete this, get these planted, and I just wanted to get some of you that's maybe new to it, or even if you've been in it a while, get them a little more confidence on your planting seeds. It's not a big thing. Now, if your gardening effort is that of a couch potato, this is not going to do any good for you. You're going to have to get up off that couch. You're going to have to start planting something, start growing. Now, these little bee seeds, these don't need to be buried deep. I do have a little indention there, but I won't cover them. I'll just water them in. The rest I'll cover because they take a little bit more moisture to germinate. But the Hilton cabbage, it won't take that much. It'll have plenty with the seed setting on the top and with the plastic dome over it to keep it going. But anyway, I hope for your couch potatoes, you get off the couch. You actually start doing some gardening. Don't get into it full bore. Some people get an obsession. I'm kind of that way sometimes. It seems that you think you got to have everything to do gardening, but I'm going to tell you don't. There's a lot of nice tools out there that make it easier for some of those that do more market garden size things. But for the general gardener, it doesn't take that much, and there's a lot of things you can do, pick up tips that'll save you time in the garden, because everybody's worried about time or the expense of growing and everything else, but you know where your food comes from. You know there's no chemicals on it, unless you're one of those gardeners that just got to break out the chemicals every time. So you have control over your food, and your food is nice and healthy. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you take the time to hit that thumbs up. That really helps me out. And it knows that I'm producing content that people want to see. And of course, as always, enjoy that gardening experience.